Costa Rica Yoga Spa here with Fiona from Australia. And,
Yeah.
Just going to tell us about your experience.
Sure. So maybe I'll start with why I decided to do Iboga, especially at the Costa Rica Yoga Spa. I think when we did the research, everything that we found about you and just the setting and the location was just really stood out from everything else, and I really liked the holistic approach that you really brought to the Iboga, and you made the effort to call me and connect, and I knew straight away that you just weren't into putting people through a process for fun. It was really something that was really important to you, and it was something that you wanted to make sure that the person going in had the right intention and they were clear, and you wanted to connect with them, and I really appreciated that, even though it took us a bit of time to connect with each other on the phone through work and travel, but I thought that was really good, so I was really impressed with that. And so that was definitely why, because we'd looked at other places and this was really a standout, so that was the first thing. And then I did it because about 10 years ago my body was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. So one of the things, and I'm a naturopathic doctor, so there's a lot of guilt that comes around a naturopathic doctor developing MS, because I grew up on a biodynamic farm in Tasmania, for heaven's sakes, how does this happen? So I think, and I've been well for a long time, but I've been really struggling, and I just knew that rather than any other plant medicine, and I'm a big meditator, I do a lot of Dr. Joe Dispenza's work, I know him well, and I work for a personal development company, I know better, I know all of this stuff, yet there was still something not clicking for me. And so rather than doing any of the other plant medicines that sort of send you out into the universe a little bit more, I knew I had to go deeper within myself and past a point that I couldn't get to. And from everything I read, Iboga was something that could potentially facilitate that. So that was the whole reason that I chose Iboga. And so my experience, well, we did a bit of reading before, we watched a couple of interviews of people that had done Iboga, and it was all the typical sort of stories of it's life-changing, but probably wouldn't do it again. And so I had heard all of that, and I was clear going that it wasn't going to be a lot of fun, potentially, but that I would get a lot out of it, and it would be really rewarding. So the ceremony was great. We did lots of You're Amazing, and all the food and the preparation coming in, and we did lots of body work coming in before, and I felt really well checked, and we'd done a bit of microdosing in the yoga, and I had a bit of an experience on the microdose as well, so I was feeling good. And then, as you know, it took a little while for it to kick in for me. And it's so funny, I think on the microdose of during the yoga ceremony, I needed to slow down, and then I got this big heart opening, and I looked out into the clouds, and this is as we were doing yoga before the ceremony, and there was a big, I don't know if anyone else saw it, there was a big eye of Horus in the clouds, and it was perfect, it was looking straight at me. That was what I was going to tell you yesterday. It was right before we started the ceremony. I was like, okay. And I could feel it was, setting everything up. And the ceremony, once it kicked in, it was intense. The first part for me was my mind. Everything else calmed, but my mind was a million miles per hour, and I became really self-aware of the thoughts that fly past our brainstem and up into our brain every day. And I was like, wow, for all the personal development work and things like that, I really haven't got control of my mind as much as I should have, and no wonder I haven't had some healing. So that was the sort of first thing. I have no idea how long that lasted, because someone reset time for me, because what felt like 6 hours when I would check with anyone else was like half an hour. And I was like, what? So I have no idea how long that lasted. And then from there I had a lot of visions of animals and creatures coming out of the plants, and my hearing changed. So the cicadas, the frogs, I was like, please frogs, not again. They were so loud. But it was that acute hearing of nature and all of that sort of stuff. And then from there, in between it, I would just get flashes of insights, which is very much my experience. And so I got the need to slow down. I understood why I developed MS. Of course, it's to slow me down. I am 100 miles per hour if you know me. So, and I got very clearly that for me and my constitution that a city, busy life isn't conducive to healing, and until I make the choice to choose myself over my work and pleasing other people, I'm never going to heal. The thing that I love about Iboga is it doesn't leave any doubt for you to go, did it really say that? It's like, no, Iboga is, for me, in my experience, was really direct. Like, it was like, this is what needs to change, and it didn't leave any grey areas. So, yeah. And then it was really just a night of that unfolding, and then it would calm down, and then it would go again, and yeah, and of course you get all the stuff that you read about, the ataxia and the nausea and the purging and the vision, and it lasted quite a few days for me, and of course someone else did ceremony last night, and it set off again, as we were talking about before. So, but the more and more I remember about Iboga, there's parts that come up, like I totally forgot, so I was speaking to Elena that I had a full experience of that we were in an altered reality, and that this isn't real, and maybe it is all simulated. And I was like, and it was showing me computer programs and how a computer builds everything together, and that was really interesting. And then it was like, well, MS isn't real. You totally made that up. Like, you totally made that up. It's not real. It's make-believe. And I was like, oh yeah, like, and it is, like, and so it's just, I feel like it's left me with the tools to go back and integrate that. And I feel like it wasn't an experience. I feel like the plant kind of makes a relationship with you, is what I want to say. And it kind of will stick around and maybe make sure that you stay on the path a little bit. Yeah, I guess that's the short version of my experience. The other thing too is, there's no words that you can put to the experience either. So it's amazing, and I think the world would be a better place if everybody did it.
And what's your take on the healers that you worked with here in your preparation and before and after the ceremony?
I am a healer snob, being a naturopath. I'm like, how good are these healers going to be? Wow, you have amazing healers here. So Carla, who came and touched me as soon as we sort of started the ceremony, has hands from God and universe. That was amazing. So she was beyond amazing and worked on me the day after the ceremony and things like that. And just, again, the thoughtfulness that you've put into making sure that was there. Because I think, especially as I was integrating the plant into my physical body and maybe more away from my mind and emotional bodies, the work I did with Heather was really good. And, Swedish sort of style massage, and the yoga instructor, best yoga I've ever done. And I grew up in a yoga commune doing kind of crazy things like that. And the yoga was, top notch. So every one of your facilitators that came home, Karen, everyone that I came past was just amazing. And I would say world class. And that comes from a naturopathic therapist snob. So, I got very high standards of what a good practitioner was.
And you had some acupuncture as well?
Oh, of course. Yeah, he was amazing, and just, yeah, that was good before. So I think it's just the combination. It was different therapists, and the body work feels with Iboga really important.
I think so.
Yeah, I feel as part of the integration and because it is such a physical inward plant that it needs a lot of this, and I was given a lot of that. And again, like I say, the thoughtfulness that you have put into creating a space that does that, and in this environment, which is just, there's an ocean over here, there's mountains over here, there's pools and vegetables, and it's just, it's very healing. And the monkeys, the howler monkeys, the cicadas, the whole environment is healing, and so then you add healing on top of that. It's just, it was magical. And it's funny, my husband, who didn't do the ceremony, was sitting there. One of the things he said to me in the morning, it's like, were you aware of the music? Because he said it was amazing for him to sit through and listen to it. And I said, at certain points I could hear it come in, and it was amazing. The music was set up as to facilitate the journey, and I could see. I can only imagine what it'd be like doing Iboga with techno going in the background. It just doesn't work. I feel like the Iboga plant being the way it is, it really appreciates the music and the soundtrack, and you can feel it work together, and you can feel the sound. Sound is just so important, that how it works and vibrates with your physical body again, as well as, you know, going through everything else. So the sound was really good. We're going to get a copy of that, by the way.
It was interesting studying music along with Iboga, because there's some soundtracks with words in it that will skip, and it won't. The Iboga won't. It's instantly like, yes, you can use this music, or no, you can't. And,
Right.
Yeah, it's a different alternative what we do besides the between music or whatever. But this is lots of hours of taking microdoses and channeling the music, and then Tony, our Australian sound engineer, who does these tracks with me. I don't know if you noticed, but it goes through your chakra. It starts at your root chakra, and every 33 minutes the frequency changes through your chakras. So
Now you say it, yes, I totally,
Yeah.
I missed it during it, but yeah,
That's another little thing we do on
yeah,
the inside.
I can see
Makes
that
sense.
now, because I do remember the track that it ended on and things. So yeah.
Let's talk about the food here and the gardens and whatnot. So what was your?
Oh, the food is amazing. I mean, I eat well, but my goodness, your chef is just how he creates those flavors and puts all of that together. And for anyone thinking, oh, vegetarian's hard, I can tell you now the flavors and the food that he puts together is amazing, and it's never the same. don't think I've eaten the same thing once since I've been here. I've been here sort of 5 days, so it's there's always plenty of it, and it's grown. Most of it's grown on the property, and it's organic, so you can obviously feel the vibration or the vitality in the vegetables. It's not packaged stuff, so